Welcome back for another Cube video. My name is Edward, also known as Strategy. And let's see if we open up Power, which we did. Ancestral Recall. That is always a really fun one to open up on. Notably, there's also a Demonic Tutor. I know that's not going to wheel, but it would be nice to have a Demonic Tutor to find our Ancestral Recall. It's like 3 mana upgraded Divination. Notably, if we want to try to play more of a broken deck, we can do Jace Wielder of Mysteries. I don't think Fable's going to come back around. Maybe we end up with this Jeskai Triome or this Abrade, maybe. Either way, we're going to take this recall, and we are going to move on very happily. All right, now... Oh, wow. It's funny. I was just thinking about it'd be nice to draft a Reanimate deck, but there's also an Urza, a Fractured Identity, and I guess that would be the other two cards I would be interested in. Now, I know it's been a while, but one thing I have stated as well is that if Recall's in your opening hand, it can act as a blue Faithless Looting. I really want this Urza, but I haven't drafted a Reanimator deck yet, and there's a Persist in this pack. Maybe it comes back around. I'll take the Entomb. At worst, we just don't play it, but that's fine. Also, if we end up being like a Breach style deck, oh my gosh, now a Workshop, I really wish I took that Urza. There's also a Mox Diamond, though, and I think I'd rather have that. Mox Diamond's really good in Entomb. And Recall is really good at drawing you a bunch of cards, obviously. And when you have a bunch of cards, you want to be able to play more mana, play more spells. So similar to if you have wheel effects, Mox Diamond gets a lot better. Recall's kind of in that same department. Yeah, I'll take the Mox Diamond. If I took Urza, I would probably honestly take the Workshop, though. Alright, well now we have a Watery Grave. I don't want to lean too heavily into like the artifact theme in case, we just don't get there. And I think this is a perfectly fine startup. Taking the Watery Grave. Okay, now, man, we could have had such a sweet artifact deck. Okay, well, let's hope we get rewarded. So there's Sundering Titan. That's not a bad reanimate. There's also Dig Through Time and Cut Down. I think those are the things I'm looking at the most. And if we're doing our thing, I don't think we necessarily need to worry about removals too much. And there are other targets other than Sundering Titan we can reanimate. So I'm going to take the Dig Through Time. Alright, now we have a Consider. That's actually a pretty solid card for us. And there's not much that I think we're... Oh, I guess there's an Atali, actually. Yeah, Atali's not like premium Reanimator because you just don't know what you're going to get, but I think that might be better than a Consider. We have two ways to look at this. We either take Atali as like mid-plus Reanimate target. The only thing that's keeping it from like being excellent is that you just don't know what you're going to hit. So sometimes it's a 7/7, and sometimes it's a 7/7 and an Ugin and a Time Walk. It just depends. So we're basically trading mid plus for more consistency, and I think actually I'm just going to take more consistency. Okay, now there's a Fatal Push here. I don't think I'm interested in anything else. I don't want to be a third color. Otherwise, I would consider this Tersa. Tersa is very strong, but I want to try to stay with 2 colors. Now there's a Wish Claw Talisman, but there's also a Miscalc. I don't mind Wish Claw Talisman. I kind of am disappointed that it's in this pack because it means it's not going to wheel to us, but I'm going to take the Miscalc. Okay, there is a Jace. There's also just a blue-black land, and there's also Virtue of Persistence. There's also technically Carnage Interpreter, but I'm going to take the blue-black land. Blue-black lands are, outside of maybe Izzet, are among the most important, or fought over, I should say, duels, and so it's just securing those is really nice. Here I'm going to take the Oculus. Coalition Relic did wheel for those keeping track on our super sweet uh, artifact deck that we could have had. Chrome Host versus him. I'm going to take the him. All right, so now we need to find a big fatty or two to reanimate. Atraxas would be awesome. We know Sundering Titan's gone, that's fine. We know Itali's gone, that's fine. Do we take the Candelabra just out of spite? Sure, we'll take it. You had a chance to take... Oh, okay. Sundering Titan did come back around. Sure, we'll take it, because we need something to reanimate. Also, keeping with two colors means that the Sundering Titan's not going to hurt us as much. Maybe we get Itali? That would be pretty epic, honestly. It would definitely make me feel better for taking the Consider. Unearth, I believe, is in the cube, so that would be a nice way to get a Born Oculus. I'll take Loot. I like Loot a lot. I don't think we're going to do much with it. Oh, wow, last pick up evil. That would have been sweet for our artifact deck, huh? Okay, now there's a Duress, a Narset, a Liliana. Actually, we might just need to take Liliana. If we took, let's see, if we were the artifact deck for, again, those having fun keeping track at home to see how bad I failed this draft, I guess I would be taking Retrofitter here and being pretty happy about it. Comet's another really fun card I love to play with, but we're not taking it for either of our decks. Anyways, Liliana is a non-red way to discard fatties that are in our hand. So I actually think I'm supposed to take the Liliana over Duress and even Recurring Nightmare. We don't really have ways to abuse Recurring Nightmare currently. So I'm going to take the Lily.
No more distractions.
Things we're looking for, Dark Ritual, which last draft we got like pick 14th, which is pretty sweet. Oh, there's a Bombardiers, nice. There's also a One Ring and an Ugin. I think I'm supposed to just take the One Ring. We can't reanimate World Spine Worm. If we had like Shallow Grave, which I'm not saying you should, but Shallow Grave's not in the cube. But if we had Shallow Grave, we could Shallow Grave the World Spine just to do 15 to them. And unless that's lethal, it's not really doing much anyways because Shallow Grave exiles. But all that's a moot point because it's not even in the cube. We're not going to consider it. I just wanted to go over that. I love Bombardiers, but we're not... If we're drafting in a pod, I might just hate the Bombardiers just because. It's a very powerful card. But I'm going to hope to wheel Concealing Curtains out of this, and I'm just going to take the One Ring. Oh, man, I dislike these frames. I thought this was a Dark Ritual for half a second. Okay, so we have... Ooh, Grave Titan's not a bad one to reanimate, honestly. There are worse targets, and this is a great one for Unmarked Grave. I guess Sundering Titan's not a bad one for Unmarked Grave either. We don't have any fetches yet, so I don't want to take this Brainstorm. We don't have a way to abuse it outside of literal Entomb, and if we're entombing, we're probably doing the thing, so I don't really care. I think it's between Aether Spellbomb and this Grave Titan. And I'm just going to take the Grave Titan. Again, if we can end up with a Dark Ritual, it's not a hard one to cast. Oh, man, now there's Titania, and there's a Zurin Orb in the pack. Not in this pack, but in another pack. Alright, Fallen Shinobi. Again, we don't have a way to abuse, but, like, Malcolm's a nice one that could get this card into play. I'm going to take it. I just don't see much else here that I'm interested in. I could just take the Titania and hope that one of these two Simic lands, which are very likely to comes back. But that's double green. I'm not trying to do that. Let's just take the blue-black card. Wow, that's a super late Minsk. Well, if we were trying to play green, this Pillage the Bog's not a bad choice. I'm not really interested in Triplicate Titan, and this might sound weird, but we may just want to take Dark Confidant, even though we have a ton of big spells. I don't really want to be a Golos deck. Triplicate Titan I just don't value all that much. I'll just take the Triplicate Titan, I guess. Oh, Archon. And Collective Brutality, missing on Collective Brutality is unfortunate, but this is our first premium target. If I had another premium target, I would probably take the Collective Brutality because enabling them is a little bit more important than having the thing itself. However, we're going to take this Archon and be very happy, and I'm going to put one of these other things back. Okay, well, there's Leovold again if we want to play green, but I do not. I'm just going to take this Trespasser. It's not a bad one at all, and it's a creature to get things going. Oh, an Urtai. I'm usually not a fan of Urtai, but it's a playable. I don't want to show and tell unless we're like show and telling literally Archon. Um, Show and tell does bring a lot of fun to it though, but I just don't think that's what we're supposed to be doing. I'll take the Urtai. Bouncing Urtai with our Fallen Shinobi is also nice. Okay, there's a Narset. I guess we're supposed to take Narset here.
If you wish to surrender now.
Notably, the Zern Orb did come back around for those keeping track. Sure, I'll take a green-black duel. I don't think we're gonna use it, but okay. So now there's a brainstorm so yes, there's a Pentad Prism, which I still may consider, but brainstorm's a way to keep filling cards for a Born Oculus at worst. And like, what are we ramping into? Not much. I'm just gonna take the brainstorm. Huh? There's an Uro. We have way too many things that care about graveyard, though, so I'm not going to do that. Let's just take this Verge. I don't really want hardly any of this. We'll just put birds in our sideboard. Okay, I mean, I guess our Black Splash is slowly becoming free. And yes, that was a Faithless Looting, but if these lands were red, I would take it, obviously, but they're not, so I'm not. That's how that works. Okay, we have a fetch land, finally. And it is a fetch land that gets us Watery Grave, more importantly. This is a disappointing pick one, but I do think it's the correct one from here. We're not taking Treasure Cruise, we're not even considering it. I may not even play both Dig Through Time and Oculus. I may just play Oculus. Strip Mine, we're not a Strip Mine deck. We're trying to do other things. And I think the Bloodstained Mire just adds to our consistency, so let's just take it. Oh, a Frog. That was probably perfect and definitely makes up for our suboptimal pick one. Well, it was as optimal, I think, as we could have taken it, but we didn't open up like anything broken. And having a good mana base is very strong, of course, but it's not as strong as just being able to do the thing like Psychic Frog. Okay, there's a lot. There's a lot to unfold. Mana Vault and Ancient Tomb are definitely very strong. Of course, we're not either of those decks. Unfortunately, we can't abuse either. Troll of Khazad-dûm is another way to find our Watery Grave, but there's also Thoughtseize, and Thoughtseize is a way to not only disrupt our opponent, but it can also, like, turn one, hit an Archon, turn two, reanimate said Archon. Now, there is a concern that I have, and that is we do not have a way to reanimate yet. So, and we are 3 picks in. Oh, man. 4 picks in now and still haven't found anything. The Persist is gone. Keep that in mind. Unmarked Grave is nice, but we don't have a way to reanimate. So this may turn into a blue-black tempo deck. And if that's the case, I'd rather just have the Undercity Sewers over the Jace. Come on, give us a Reanimate or something. Oh, gosh. Okay, well, that's very disappointing, having Vampiric Tutor and Animate Dead in the same pack. I am going to have to take the Animate Dead, obviously. That's so sad, but, I mean, at least we hit a Reanimate spell. Bone Shards. I was hoping that would be the 3-drop Resurrection spell. I forget what it's called off the top of my head, but I said it earlier. Unearth, I think. There's Tendrils. That was our best friend in the last draft. Am I supposed to just take Bone Shards, I suppose? I'm not really interested in anything else in here. Baleful Strix now? It's too bad we don't have that, It's too bad that we don't have the, Recurring Nightmare. That didn't wheel. So there's definitely another Reanimate drafter, unfortunately. Yeah, it's too bad Persist didn't wheel. Persist is absolutely fantastic with Archon because it's not legendary. I'm really hoping we can get one more, but this is our last chance at it, and it looks like that is not the case. Do we just take Jace then? Because it's a way to win the game, technically. Because we're not getting any more Reanimate anything. So, which is unfortunate, because Harvest of Misery is also really nice. I'm going to take Harvester. I think it has the higher upside. Summon Bahamut. Not really interested in. Not really interested in this Sorin either, honestly. But, you know what? It's a playable. Maybe we do play the green and we play Grist. We don't have any synergies with this Echo, otherwise I can Entomb for it. I guess, okay, we have Narset. Sure, I'll take the Echo, I guess. um sure, we'll take the Bolus of Citadel. Okay, Jace and Unmarked and Phantasmal Image came back. That's nice. I just don't know if any of that's gonna matter per se, but we have recall, so let's take the Jace. Yawgmoth's Will is a way to get back Animate Dead. And Talisman of Dominance. You know what? That's a way to. I think I like Talisman of Dominance actually a little bit better than that. Uvenwald Oddity is not a terrible card, just not going into our deck. Alright, I'll see you in the deck tech. Pardon me for this brief interruption to introduce this year's Oklahoma Land Run information. This will be our 7th year hosting this event. Featured events include a Legacy main event, a Vintage main event, and a Team Trios main event featuring both and including Modern as the third seat. If you can make it a day earlier, Thursday, July 9th, Game HQ will be hosting Last Chance Trials. These trials include various formats firing every hour starting at noon. Also happening Thursday, there will be a High Roller Vintage Cube starting at 7 p.m. A Charity Old School 93-94 tournament happening Sunday the 12th. Don't have power? Don't worry. You can proxy any card currently on the reserve list for all events during the Oklahoma Land Run. This year's playmat artist is none other than Kai Saratari. More information, including side events and trial kits, are coming soon. Check out the link in the description to keep up to date with this year's Oklahoma Land Run. Now let's get back to the action. Alright, this is what I ended up going with. I am only going to play the Abhorrent Oculus, not the Dig Through Time. I did mention that a little bit in the draft. Because Jace also fights with the graveyard a little bit, you want it to get it to 5 so it can flip before you exile everything again. I definitely don't think I can afford both. I am going to play the Echo. I considered cutting it. However, I have multiple ways to discard it. And I realized that it doesn't just combo with Narset. It also kind of combos with Psychic Frog. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it in. I don't know how good it's going to be, but we'll see. And other than that, we kind of did botch the Reanimate draft. And by botched, that might be a bit too strong. We didn't get a ton. In fact, we got literally one Reanimate spell. Now, we could have had a Persist, but we would have we would have not taken the Entomb then, and that just seems horrible. And Recurring Nightmare was the only other one, and I don't think we had any creatures except for maybe the Titan at the time when that decision was made. So, yeah, this is the pile we got left with. We could have had a super sweet artifact deck, even though we were passing all the artifacts. We still saw a lot, so imagine if we were taking them, but it is what it is. I am still super excited to play this, and let's see how good we do. I'll see you in the round one. Welcome to round one. Okay, we have a turn 2 Frog. We have a turn 1 Thoughtseize if we want to gamble not playing turn 2 Frog. I think I'd rather turn 1 Thoughtseize. Hopefully we untap and draw an island in the next 2 turns, but... Oh, they're Frog of their own. Well, I'm very glad I led with Thoughtseize. That changes this a lot. Now, until I find a Reanimate spell, I probably shouldn't be casting this Entomb. In fact, I could wait until after Frog and then Entomb draw 7 and, you know, try to go from lethal pretty quickly. Our opponent doesn't have white mana yet. Oh, now there's a recall. Nice. Does our opponent have removal? No. Okay. Still not white mana. I'm going to keep this. If I draw Animate Dead, I'm going to be very happy that I did. So let's start with Recall target us. It resolves immediately. Mox Diamond Pitch Swamp, probably. Undercity Sewers before the potential draw. Okay, nice. We'll keep that. Alright, and then now we will end turn, and then next turn we have Narset Echo. We also have Fallen Shinobi, but I think Narset Echo might be better. Especially, oh, okay. So I think I will go for the Narset Echo now, because they're going to O-ring our Psychic Frog. Does this have flash? Yes, it does. Enchantment enters exile one non-permanent into this. Okay, yeah. Let's just put Echo in the yard. Oh. Do they have something? That's great, because we wouldn't be able to resolve the Narset effect if they would have waited. So that's great, because it says non-land permanent, I believe. Yeah, so now we get to put Echo in the yard. And then hopefully resolve Narset Watery Grave. Narset Watery Grave, sorry, Narset Echo.
The past, present, and future are bound by threads of time.
If our opponent was already in top deck mode, I would just slam the Grave Titan probably, but they're not, so let's continue pushing our advantage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I am going to go ahead and minus, mostly because I want to get value from this in case they get like a Bone Shards or something. Ooh. I'm going to take the Animate Dead. And then now we can discard, and that also feeds the Jace to finish my thought. Alright, opponent is fighting. Let's see what Narset has to say. Narset says Thoughtseize. I don't think I want to Thoughtseize them. I think I'd rather just Thoughtseize myself. I could just wait, though, and play Archon next turn. I think that's probably better. That way, like, if they do have a counterspell as their last card, I don't just get screwed. If they counterspell this, then obviously I'll Thoughtseize the Archon and do it, but... Is this half to target? Up to 1, okay. Now, this does play into a Wrath, but this gets them dead decently fast, and I'm going to submit 0 on that. And If they have the Wrath, then I have the follow-up Hardcast Archon. Keep in mind I can also attack with Creeping Tar Pit, which I'll probably do starting soon. Oh. Well, now we have Liliana. We'll get that last card out of them.
When I win, you're telling me what you know about the...
I'm honestly just going to play it safe here, and not discard or put into play the Archon. Okay, I'm glad I didn't Thoughtseize. I could attack with the Creeping. I probably should be attacking with the Creeping, but I'm not. Let's exile their card. They could have Dig Through Time effects. Okay. Giving me back my frog. Alright, good game. See you next round. Welcome to round 2. We are on the play, and I have Thoughtseize into One Ring or Urtai. I could Entomb for Echo, but I'm not doing that. Not in the current situation, at least. Wow. I'm just gonna take the Booster Tutor. The thing that they have a lot of reaction, they don't have a lot of action, and Booster Tutor finds them action. All right, I'm gonna hope that I draw a land in the next 2 turns. Okay, I did. Now I'm going to untap and Entomb, probably. If it resolves, I may just get Echo and then force them to either accept it, excuse me, or counter it. If they have a Bowmasters, it's gonna... Oh, wow, we immediately draw Animate Dead. That's funny. Well, they didn't counter it, so let's just hold up for an Urtai. And this is one of the reasons why I'm just not a fan of Urtai. I'm going to be giving them a draw card, but like I don't want to just keep saying go, and at least this will start applying pressure. Like, I'm sure our opponent feels very good now that they just get to cycle their card. Okay. Well, now I definitely don't want to Echo.
How am I supposed to focus on only one project?
I guess if I Echo, it means I can kill the Tameo if they tap out, but I don't know why they would. Huh, Mox Diamond. Perfect draw. I'm just going to go for it. This does show weakness on my behalf, so if they have something nice to cast, they can do it, but... And I'm going to sack the Urtai if they cast the Sheoldred's Edict, which they should. Now, they do have double blue, so because of the Chromatic Star, unfortunately. Alright, now I can Echo, and if they let it resolve, I can Creeping Tar Pit, depending, to attack down their Tameo. I need to get a little bit more mana. Narset would not be a bad draw. Okay, that's not good for us. I believe I have Fatal Push in the deck. Currency Converter, okay. I think I'm supposed to Animate Dead and then play the One Ring. Because I think that they're going to counter the Animate Dead on Urtai to kill the Burrow. I mean, I feel like I would in their position. Bargoyf seems like it can run away with the game, and then I'll play Mox Diamond. Yep, there we go. We're going to resolve that. And actually, I'm just going to play Bloodstained Mire, save the Mox Diamond for after One Ring activations. Activate, draw. Hey, there's a Fatal Push. So I can technically play... Okay, I don't think... Yeah, so it doesn't trigger Revolt because of the way it's worded. Hopefully they didn't draw another counterspell. That would be very abysmal. Alright, you're going to draw again so you can activate your Tameo. Because otherwise the play I have if I draw a land is Echo into Mox Diamond. I'm sorry, not Echo into Mox Diamond. Echo into land and attack the Tameo while it's still at 2.
Use your words.
Okay. Oh, Narset. They probably have a counterspell. Let's see if we can hit something. Okay, ooh, Liliana. That's great. Resolves. Decline. And let's hope that they don't have a Force of Will.
Happy to help, but off you go.
Alright, and the next turn, hopefully we can just slam this Grave Titan and start winning the game. I am somewhat interested in echoing, but I think I need to get the Psychic Frog down first. Okay. Broadside, hopefully we can deal with soon. That is going to kill the Lily. Yep. I was gonna say I don't want to uptick the Lily anyways, so that's perfectly fine.
knew this was
Okay, that didn't
wasting
make any
time.
sense. I think our opponent kind of messed up. Was that attacking us or was that attacking Lily? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, our opponent definitely messed up. Okay, and then counterspell, which isn't going to do too much. Excuse me. Yep, and then let's get the frog down. And then hopefully Grave Titan can just end this game very quickly. They have Bombardiers that can kill the Grave Titan with the Fallen Shinobi. But then we attack back for a bunch. I guess they have the +2, but...
Respect the library.
I think I'm just going to go for an Echo Psychic Frog play then. Of course they could Bombardiers the Psychic Frog. Oh, attacking us for 3. Okay. That means they don't have whatchamacallit up. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm not missing something, right? They only have 1 blue up? They could have removal, I suppose. If this is like an Urtai or a Hull Breacher or something, that will be very annoying for me. Miscalc would be great. Okay, no. Looks like they have something. Still no Miscalc. Still no Miscalc. Okay. Well, I tried to get a Miscalc. Now I'm going to play land and hold up Urtai. And hopefully just go for the win. I know that this is going to shrink. Alright, let's go from here. Good game. Alright, I'll see you next round. Welcome to round 3. We have a Recall and a Baleful Strix in our hand. We're going to keep. I think getting basic Swamp is honestly perfectly fine. So I'm just going to lead with the Island. Okay. That can be scary. I don't want to fire off this Recall. Not just yet, at least. If I had, like, Animate Dead in my hand, I would be very much so happy with it. Play Baleful Strix. Yep, okay, there we go. Interesting. Let's go to combat with the Baleful Strix and then play a Graveyard Trespasser that might get reanimated, or that might get, whatchamacallit, counterspelled. Yeah, let's just play the Graveyard Trespasser. Okay, that's what I thought, but that's fine. We have other things to be doing. Well, now we're not getting our Recall mana leaked. Oh, Preacher. Okay, they might regret that decision. Let's lead with the Thoughtseize. I think that's better than holding up Urtai, honestly. Yeah, we're going to take the Abhorrent. Okay, we did hit a Swamp. Fantastic. And there we go. Infernal Grasp. Oh, okay. I guess they're waiting. Makes sense. Yep. Now that leaves us free for the Grave Titan. No blocks. We'll take 2. Yeah, I am going to just play the Liliana. The Baleful Strix makes it to where they probably don't want to attack with Preacher.
This is my home.
And I don't want them to get to Archon mana, so... And by Archon, I mean Portal, which they're keeping, so interesting. I guess a better play would have been to attack with the face down card and then Lily in case they blocked. So I botched that turn. That's on me. Yeah, we will block here.
Do not touch me again.
What's their last card? Oh, Time Warp. Okay, sure. God, we have that Baleful Strix, huh?
With the wrong necromancer.
Now this is tough because I could have just used that land to discard, but I don't want to trade that land for a portal. I'm just going to play the Grave Titan. If they have a counterspell, they have a counterspell. Okay, they did not. And then I think I'm just going to leave up Urtai for the rest of the game moving forward. Oh, Wan Tong. Okay. Sure. That's reasonable. I'll just end the turn. If they want to attack Liliana with the 4/4, that's perfectly fine by me. Notably, I don't want to be casting Entomb here because the Wan Tong, and I think we already got the Bloodstain Mire gone. Yes. Okay. Not blocking the Grave Titan. Interesting. And again, I'm just going to leave up Urtai for the rest of this game. Our opponent hasn't done much since the last couple of turns, so maybe they're sitting on counter spells, maybe they're sitting on selective removal spells. Either way, I like the way that we navigated this. Sure. And they are going to be forced to block the Grave Titan. Okay. And again, I'm just going to leave up Urtai. That's fine. Okay. Hull Breacher, what does that do? That blocks 2 things, but then they still die? Sure. Do they have a Time Twister now? I should have probably countered. That was wrong. I should have countered. Okay, yeah. I think the countering is the higher play because I still had lethal in play by a mile, so that was incorrect, but I like the rest of the way I played that. I'll see you next round. Welcome to round 4. Hey, we see Miscalc for the first time, and we also have him to Turok. This is great. I will keep. We are on the draw, unfortunately, but maybe we top deck a Thoughtseize. It is always awkward. It's like, do I leave up Miscalc or do I just play the him? And I do think that most of the time it is correct to just play the him. Well, I was going to say, our opponent kept the hand, so there we go. Okay, well, that's not ideal. But we will shock this in and say go. Harvester of Miseries is a decent way to deal with this. Uh-oh, that's not good. Actually, I do need to take this swamp. Yeah. As much as I would love to been okay, unfortunately we got punished there. Because it would have been another way to get this Oculus into play. Now they didn't play anything like a threat on turn 2, so I'm actually gonna wait and hold up Miscalc and then I'll him to Turok. And if they don't, if they do this whole like cute thing where they don't, then I'll just cycle the miscalc, which I think is fine. Getting to a Harvester of Miseries, I think, is the way we win this game. Hopefully this is just like an Ajani or something I can counter, and then I can untap and miscalc. Yep, it wouldn't be a Gut or a Bombardiers. Season Pyro, yeah, just keep the board clear, honestly, and it also lets me get closer to Abhorrent. Yep. Oh, Frog. That's actually a really good one. To be fair, Seasoned is also not the worst thing to reanimate here. But they have 2 cards left. So I'm just going to do this now. And then now we can play Frog and Animate Dead next turn. Probably on the Seasoned. Actually, maybe I just discard the Abhorrent. That's better. And then I Animate Dead the Abhorrent. Alright, let's see if they have a counterspell. They might. If their last card's a Mana Tithe, I'm going to regret doing this. So maybe I'm supposed to play around the Mana Tithe. I'm going to play around the Mana Tithe. I don't think we're in immediate danger here. Which means I shouldn't have done the Abhorrent, unfortunately. Okay, that's a land. I'm okay with that. Pyrogoyf is a problem. I need to discard all 3 things in order to keep it, and that's just not worth it. I'm just going to Animate Dead and hope to draw a relevant spell here. That does give them whatchamacallit, though, which is unfortunate. Yeah, whatever that thing's called. Alright, let's Animate Dead. The Abhorrent Oculus. Start getting some things into play. Unfortunately, this Mother of Runes is gonna stop this Fatal Push from being effective, but if we can get them to protect, then it'll be fine. Comet. That's probably the nail in the coffin, unfortunately. I wonder if that was their last card. Yeah, that's it. Let's just cast that and get out of this game. Unfortunately, I think we just got kind of high rolled there. Obviously, I did misplay a little bit. I should have waited on the Aberrant or just gone for it. It looks like they didn't have the Mana Tithe, but I stand by not I stand by waiting a turn. I'll see you next round. All right. Yeah, well, this is perfectly fine. Harvest of Miseries was the card we needed last game, but we didn't get there, nor did we have the mana. Let's see what they want to do. We're going to lead with Sewers. I'm going to bottom a lot of or surveil a lot of things. Narset is not one of them. Narset can just single-handedly win us a game, and so I do want to keep it just in case. I'm going to lead off with the Jace. If they have removal spell, that's fine. At least it means we have Baleful Strix probably for the following turn. If they have 2 removal spells, then none of this matters. But I think this has the highest upside. And if they don't play a threat, I'm going to play Narset. If they do play a threat, I'm going to play Baleful Strix. I'll probably play Baleful Strix before I play my land in case I draw a Creeping Tar Pit. It looks like our opponent is going to play a threat, which is unfortunate, but that's fine. That is one of the downsides to not play. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Oh, and now we have Echo. And I'm not going to play around the Lightning Bolt here. If they have a Lightning Bolt, then good for them.
I have just the trick for
don't think we want Entomb. I'll just take the miscalc. Maybe scare them a little bit. No attacks in turn. Okay, they did not have a lightning bolt. If our opponent taps out to do something not impactful, we may just win the game on the spot. If they leave up mana, then I am not going to go for the Echo play. I'll still discard the Echo, but I'm not going to go for it. Psychic Frog is not great for us. That means I probably need to bleed with Baleful. Because they can just pump, unfortunately. Pump the Psychic Frog. So I am going to minus. If this finds a Fatal Push, then that'll be great. It did not, unfortunately. Let's just Baleful Strix, leave up Miscalc. I just don't want to lose to the Psychic Frog being huge. And if this finds a Fatal Push, that is great. Okay, it did not. So yeah, we're going to leave up Miscalc. I could Thoughtseize, but I think it's better to leave up Miscalc this turn, and then next turn I'll Thoughtseize more than likely. They have to have a removal spell here, which is not unrealistic to have a 1 or 2 mana removal spell, or even a 0, thanks to Snuff Out. Snuff Out won't hit the Baleful Strix, though, so that's nice. Unfortunately, the Miscalc is face up. Well, that's just mean. Yeah, because they're already going to want to dump their hand anyways, so... I'm gonna leave this, because this makes them... If they want to cast anything else, they're going to have to take the Miscalc. They probably take the Consider, though, because it looks like they can play around the Miscalc reasonably well. Yeah, Collective Brutality is among the worst removal spells they could have had for us. Like, from our side. Great for them, bad for us. Yeah, they did take the Miscalc, so now I get to Consider, hopefully. I will Consider, and then I will activate Jace after they declare attacks, so they can't attack the Jace. But I want to try to hit Fatal Push, is the idea. Yep. Yep. Alright, now we Consider. Let's hit Fatal Push. Animate Dead, what does that do for us? Honestly, not a whole lot. Fatal Push? Nope. Alright, well that makes the decision easy at least. Alright, Narset is down, unfortunately. But at least now we get to Abhorrent Oculus. I am going to Thoughtseize first. There's the Fatal Push. Okay. Let's Thoughtseize, and if we can kill the Psychic Frog, I'm sitting very high. Oh, that's not good for us. I did not, okay. That's not the end of the world, but I am going to Fatal Push now. Because I can Thoughtseize again. Looks like they didn't hit very well. And I can Thoughtseize the Dak Faden and the Orcish Bowmasters. I can also just Echo, but I think that's wrong. I think... Okay, I think I'm just going to take the swords. Oh god, they have a very good hand. They have a very strong hand. Am I supposed to just Echo then? Or do we think Abhorrent can beat this? I think Abhorrent can beat this. Let's take the swords.
Every thought matters.
Fallen Shinobi would be a great hit here. Instead, we got 2 lands. Now we're not going to draw a 6th land for the Grave Titan. This Abhorrent Oculus should be a problem for them, I would imagine. Okay, they chose to lead with Comet, which honestly I probably prefer. Let's just make some squirrels. Okay, great. Because squirrels don't block Oculus. So. Oh, now we can just Grave Titan. I could also just kill their Comet. That seems a lot better. Oh, no, that hits my stuff too. Never mind. I'm stupid. That was really dumb. I should have just led with Grave Titan. I am so sorry. Well, let's Thoughtseize. That was super dumb. Embarrassing levels of dumb, but that's fine. I don't... I think I was supposed to just... I guess I'll take the Dak Faden. Planeswalkers are just obnoxious. That's a recall in the yard now. Of course, they have Bowmasters, but... Okay, and more squirrels. That's fine. Yep, and this leaves up their Orcish Bowmasters. Which, honestly, I guess I should have just taken, but if they drew a land, they could have done both anyways. The last thing I wanted, though, was them Bowmasters and Dak Faden, but again, if I took the Bowmasters, then it's not relevant.
I have a lot to think about.
Am I supposed to just sack this to kill the... I think I'm supposed to just sack that to kill the Comet. And then I feel fantastic. They could reprieve, of course. So I shouldn't have minused, because then I could just recall, but okay, now they can't reprieve. That makes me feel a little bit better. Sure. And then block with 3 things. That's fine. Now I bone shards, sacrifice a creature, target this sack here. Excuse me. And Fallen Shinobi is exactly what I wanted to hit. Probably going to discard the reprieve. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now remember, I can flash back this Fatal Push as well, if I want to go for the Echo line. What do they have? Oh, a Flage. Sure. That's going to kill the face down, but then I'm just going to flip it. It ruins the surprise, but whatever. Are they going to go for the Jace? I'm okay with that. And then are they going to pick up... Are they going to pick up the Flage afterwards? Probably, I would imagine. Yep, that makes sense. Now, if they have land Flage again, that's fine. But if they had that, they would have gone with the Oculus, I would imagine. Attacking doesn't make a lot of sense at all. Okay. Oh, I guess I forgot about the treasure. Never mind, that does make sense. But I'm going to make it to where they have to commit to the Fallen. Oh, I guess they can kill the Jace too, though, if they do this. And then it would be in the yard, and then I can just shuffle it up. Yeah, they have to pick one or the other. They're not getting both.
Love being uncoordinated.
Yep. And I'm perfectly okay with... Okay, yep, there we go. I'm perfectly okay with just killing this Bowmasters. Let's see what I draw. Frog. I just don't want to give them a new 7. Excuse me.
Knowledge is a skeleton key.
Yeah, we'll put Archon into play. I mean, we're super far from doing it. Unfortunately. Excuse me. But they can't kill the Jace now. It's going to take most, if not all, of their turn to put Flaige into play. And then when they block and trigger Revolt, then I can flash back Jace. Unless they... not Jace, but Fatal Push. Unless, of course, they... hit the Jace. Which, if they hit the Jace, I'm also okay with. Because this is just a ton of damage coming in. Because I can just minus the Flaige. So that it doesn't trade with the Grave Titan. I imagine they're going to kill the face down card. Okay, no, they do go for the Jace.
I could use bigger muscles right now. Where's the next puzzle?
I think I just need to attack with everything, unfortunately. I would like to leave back the face down, but I'm just so far away from flipping it. They go to 1? I have protection, and I'm just going to attack out. They have to have a Wrath of God, which means Ogre's Bowmasters goes away, then we just reset. And if they do Wrath of God, I am going to exile some cards out of my yard for obvious reasons. I guess if those reasons aren't obvious, it's so that if I echo, because their Orcish Bowmasters will be dead, then I can have a higher chance of hitting something. I don't want to get rid of too much because I do need my deck to, exist so I don't die, but all right, well, our opponent hit with the good game, and then okay, there we go. They are doing something. Sure. Excuse me.
Hopefully I helped.
All right. I'll see you next round. All right, welcome to round 6. Here we have a turn 1 Hymn to Turok, and we're going to keep that. All right, let's see if we can disrupt their game plan. No, we put a reanimate target in the yard. That's not good. Let's see what we want to draw. Land, I think I'm okay with getting by on 3 mana for now. I could have led with Jace, of course, and that's probably what I should have done, but I like getting the Baleful Strix out there just in case. Yep, we gave him a reanimate target. Nice. And they got Grant. Oh my god. Good game. Alright, what does this do for us? Almost nothing. That's so abysmal. I need to hit my own Animate Dead now. If I hit my own Animate Dead, we're not... It's not the end of the world. No, 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 no. That's... Oh, man.
Those who get in my way tend to... You won't be outsmarting me.
Nice. Alright, I assume this is all just going to go after me and I'm dead, but here we are. Yep. Well, that was abysmal. I'll see you next round. Welcome to round 7. We are currently 4-2, and we unfortunately got super high rolled last game. This game looks to be has a lot higher potential as we can turn 2 discard Archon and get an Animate Dead into play. So let's keep. I think I'm just gonna go tapped Watery Grave. Go. yes, our opponent could have like a Time Twister style effect, but I don't want to leave Mox Diamond exposed to artifact removal like I would, say, a Mox Opal or any other Mox for that matter. Um, because that's just super punishing, and then we may not have another land. So let's just do this. I think the chances of them being able to bounce or blow up the Mox is a lot higher than it would otherwise be, so... Now, because they led with Jeskai, I think I am going to go ahead and discard the Archon. Otherwise, I would wait and just discard the Abhorrent.
We all have things we'd rather forget.
Okay, this could obviously be a counterspell of some kind. And in case it's like... I'm going to play around the miscalc. If it's a mana leak, it's a mana leak. Oh. Okay, well, that's why you just go for it sometimes, I guess. Alright, well, we successfully completed this draft. As far as we got five wins, so we got our money back. I'll see you next round. Welcome to round 8, and we did get to successfully vintage our opponent. So I guess I guess it's even for when we got vintage the round before. Although we enabled our opponent the round before, so that's still totally on us. With that said, I am keeping this hand, which I already have done, and I'm going to lead off with an Undercity Sewers. We're going to get rid of this swamp. Again, Entomb can get Echo, and that can allow Frog to hit for massive damage. Oh. That's a good draw. Now, Lutri means they probably have a bunch of counter spells and or removal, so I'm not going to go all in on Psychic Frog. But top decking the Animate Dead there is very nice. Okay, if they have a counter spell. Oh, Felia. Okay. That's not the end of the world. They probably blink their Mox so that they can make the Felia bigger, I would imagine. Oh, Lingering Soul? So that means they're not attacking me? Unless they have... This could mean that they have swords. Yeah, I know it's my go. I get to make plays. Oh, wait. Oh, I thought that... Why did I think they were hitting the Mox Pearl? That was wrong. I don't know why I did that, and I apologize. I'm just going to play the Tar Pit. Yeah, I hate that I gave up an extra counter there for no reason. I don't know why I thought the arrow was pointing towards the Mox Pearl, but that's definitely on me for not just double checking. I mean, that goes back to me talking about how I can be impatient with my plays. Flashing back Lingering Souls, eh? Sure. Sure. Yeah, there's a miscalc. I don't hate that. Don't hate that either. Okay, good game. All right, we are one game away from seeing if we get to 7 wins or stay at 6-3. See you next. All right, welcome to the last round. This is round 9, and we have Recall, which could be a Faithless looting for us, into Animate Dead or even discarding the Echo. We're going to keep. Once Upon a Time suggests a green base deck. Obviously, it's a green card, but I just mean like a majority green base deck, not just one playing green. This is great, especially if you have like some land synergies, like ooh, okay, Bargoyf. All right, so that means we do need to be careful. Oh, and Mountain, okay. Okay, so that means we do need to be careful about reanimate spells. But what I was gonna say is that if I draw Archon, I do want to just play this Recall turn 1. I don't know if I got that out yet, but that was definitely a heavy consideration. And then now we can get rid of the Echo as well, so we like don't even lose value on our Recall. And then, okay, they did not go Reanimate, and then now Canker Bloom is going to get destroyed by Animate Dead. And hopefully that just gets us to our 7th win easy peasy. Imagine if Spirit Guides were in this cube and they just blew us out. All right, 7th win. We got the Recall Faithless looting win. I'm glad I got to show that off. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the outro. So first off, I would like to say I do think this deck overperformed for what we have. Yes, we have some very powerful cards, but the synergy in this deck is not the greatest. So I am glad that we seemed to have drawn the right cards in a somewhat right order, and I didn't mess it up too badly. So I do think that keeping the Echo of Eons in the deck definitely paid off. I mean, we won a game because we assembled Narset Echo, and it gave Entomb a second target, because the only real target Entomb has is the Archon, which I don't think we ever entombed for Archon, which is interesting. But yeah, I did absolutely love this deck. I do think that the mana base, keeping it 2 colors and not trying to play with, you know, Tursa and some other things, definitely worked out. We ended up getting rewarded with a Liliana in that regard. Bone Shards also, you know, you can discard a card to enable as well. That didn't happen, but still, I think this deck had just enough to keep the cohesion together, and with powerful cards like Thoughtseize, Ancestral Recall, Mox Diamond powering it out, I definitely think that this deck obviously had the goal. It's just I wouldn't be excited to draft it again. I definitely think we had to get lucky on some points, but it was fun nonetheless. It is funny that when we cast him the Turok, I think we cast it twice. And one of those times it just completely backfired on us. Of course, the 5/5 Crabomination did almost miss, which would have been cool. But it didn't. It instead hit a Grave Titan. So that was one of our very quick losses. But there towards the end, we did start playing towards the Reanimator. I'm not even going to say half. I'm going to say like an 1/8 of the deck. And was able to get some cheap and free wins and take advantage of a more powerful archetype there towards the end of the drafts. So I hope you had fun, and I can't wait to draft another one with y'all. Have a good night.